to the B Lounge podcast for all things business, insurance, and finance. Now, here's your host, Dr. T.
Hello, welcome to the Business Lounge, the B Lounge. This is your host, Dr. T. I hope you guys are having an amazing day. I am so excited about this interview today. This interview is about gender equality, women climbing the glass ceiling. If you all know me, you know that my dissertation was on women climbing the glass ceiling as a pastor, as a leadership in churches. So still wanted to kind of expand that and see how women climb the glass ceiling in higher education, because I am a professor as well. So I wanted to see how women climb the glass ceiling in higher education. Despite significant strides towards gender equality, the glass ceiling remains a persistent obstacle for women in higher education. While progress has been made over time in increasing female representation in academic ranks, reaching leadership positions, particularly at the highest levels, continue to be a challenge. And I wanted to narrow it down to our people of color, the African American women. So I am happy. I am ecstatic because we have a legend in the building. We have a legend. Today we're here with Dr. Portia Shields, an American academic administrator who served as the 7th president of Albany State for 8 years. Also, she's the first female president for Albany State, right?
Yes.
She earned her Bachelor of Science degree in education from the District of Columbia Teachers College, one of 3 institutions later merged to form the University of the District of Columbia. She earned a Master's of Arts degree in education from George Washington University and a Doctor of Philosophy degree in early childhood and elementary education from the University of Maryland at College Park. Her work experience included serving as Dean of the School of Education from 1993 to 1996 and Director of Medical and Biomedical Communications, College of Medicine from 1989 to 1993 at Howard University. Wow. And she has some more accolades. More accolades that we're going to definitely expound on. So Dr. Shields is here today to share her personal experiences, obstacles on the path of parity, breaking through barriers, and her expectations and hopes for the future. So I'm excited to welcome and honored to welcome my guest, Dr. Shields. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
I am so happy that you're here. So we're going to start off with one. Can you share some of your personal experiences with the glass ceiling in higher education?
Well, until you talked about this, I didn't think I had any experiences with the glass ceiling.
Wow.
Some of them come from what others do, and some of them come from what you do you yourself. And let me give you an example.
Okay.
My mother, after she finished her master's at New York University, went on to get what she called 30 Beyond. Today they call it, I believe, an associate doctorate, but it was called 30 Beyond. So when I finished my master's, I wrote to the chairman of the department at the University of Maryland and suggested that I come and get 30 Beyond. That includes my resume and all of that. And they called me and said, come in for an interview. When I got in for the interview, he said, we don't have anything called 30 Beyond. So, number one, I had not done my homework. And then he said, but we do have a PhD program and we'd love to welcome you into that because of your credentials. And you know what I said?
What?
To go home and talk to my husband about this. Right there, in that one experience, I put myself in the glass ceiling.
Wow.
If he would have been just an ordinary guy, he would have said, she knows what she's talking about. So I a winner. But he persevered. I went on and got my references and got into the program. It was an exciting experience, growthful. Almost got through to the end with a smile on my face. The department, my head, was known to be racist, but didn't have that experience. She didn't bother me, I didn't bother her.
Right.
So I go up to her and said, well, we're getting ready for my dissertation. What would you like me to do? She said, you know, you've been getting all these job offers. Why don't you just go ahead and take a job somewhere and come back in the summers and finish your degree in the summers? Did you hear that?
Mm-hmm.
I said, here's the class.
Yeah.
What would it take for me to finish on time? She said, you have to come to my house every morning at 8 o'clock and we'll go over your business. At 7:30, when she walked out of her house to pick her newspaper up, I was sitting right in front of her. I did that every day until the time to defend my dissertation, and I made it out there on time. But I was not woke. You see, that's what you all call it now. It was not woke.
Uh-huh.
So I'm glad we're having this conversation. I want people, women especially, to look at what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
How much are they contributing to the glass ceiling?
Right. Wow. I mean, wow. Now with that, as far as you saw it firsthand when you started on your PhD, right?
Yes.
Now you finished with your PhD, correct?
Sure.
And now we're gonna what? Now we're gonna advance into your career.
Yes.
What are some of the challenges you face with that?
Glad you asked. But before I even get there, I want to talk about my family just for a minute.
Okay.
Nobody would be surprised that the 3 girls would have been successful because we had a mother who was a role model for that, but also a father who didn't take any stuff. He would say, lower your voice, strengthen your arguments, but most of all, do the work. Don't make any excuses. So I got to be a professor at Howard University. Oh boy, was I glad. And my department chair liked my work, and she said, we're going to take a trip to Africa, educators to Africa, women from all over the country. Would you like to go? I said, oh, the Mecca. Oh, of course. And so I went. The person who hired me, the dean of the school, also went. And we were going through, you should have been there. It was a wonderful experience. And he comes up to me and says, come to my room this evening at 7. I want to talk to you about some things. I said, sure. But see, I was broke. And I went to a couple of other people who were there and asked, did the dean invite you to? And one guy said, no, but we're going. And so at 7 a.m. that evening, we knocked on this door. There were candles. There was soft music. There was wine in the cooler. And then there were the 7 of us. We went in and took care of that business and then left together. So you see, there's always, now you think that'd be the end of it. A couple years later, I'm up for department chairman. I have the vote of everybody in the department. The dean picked somebody else. When I went in to ask him, I said, what's wrong? He said, you'll get your chance.
Wow.
And he just put a smile on his face. In other words, payback is a you know what. But remember what my dad said, just go ahead and do the work. Next time I got the opportunity to be department chair. So what you do is the work.
Exactly.
Now, others would have said, well, I did work, but a lot of them were absent. When you're in a higher education, you have at least 3 classes to teach in the go.
Right.
You have to put you on a committee, but you have to show up. But if you don't, you can't expect anything good to happen. went everywhere they asked me to go, and especially taking students with me. Sit here and see what this meeting is about. And let's have a talk about it. Let the kids know that you're involved. Okay, so I'm good. Happy. The team at the medical college at Howard University called and asked me if I would come and sit for an interview for director of medical education. But right in me, I smacked myself to say, of course. And I not found what medical education was. Then I went to work and found out what it was that the faculty needed. And we got them a state-of-the-art medical technology teaching and learning center. Wow. That's what they wanted. I didn't know anything about it, but if that's what they wanted, that's what they were going to get. Okay, during the summertime, you could hear the doctors, the physicians walking around and say, where keep these little children? Well, my father said, never forget where you come. Yes. And so I had some people at the School of Education to bring some children down. Next thing I know, they were in the technology center and the doctors were showing them how to do the doctors were even reading to the kids. Wow. Then I got another call from the acting president of Howard University, Joyce Ladner. Wonderful person, author, great person, sociologist. And she asked me if I would become acting dean of the School of Education, go back home. I said, that sounds good. I said, but can't do that acting. That acting won't get me the respect. Right. And so she decided, okay, I'm just going to make you the name. I said, okay, I'll be up there. Now you think she got the job? She was acting president. Wow. They gave the job to somebody else. So that's another. If you want the job, you have to have something to do with the terms and conditions, or else you get what you deserve. See which she got. So wow. Anyway, it's because you see what's going on. It doesn't have to happen to you. Exactly. You have to observe and then take advantage of it. Right. That's true. I like that. Okay, Dr. Shields, I like how you expounded on how your father taught you how to do the work. That is so important. That's how my mom was with me. Like, do the work. Yeah. Just do the work. Let the work speak for itself. Exactly. Let the work speak for itself. You don't have to. You can still be impactful, but not loud. That's right. Yeah. Have your hands off the hips. Exactly. Don't roll. Exactly. Exactly. So with that, how have you observed or experienced any unconscious bias or discrimination that contributed to the glass ceiling for women in your field? Oh, absolutely. Women are entering all kinds of fields now, but they used to be mostly teachers, counselors, and the like. And they're trying, and still today, they're trying. But there's not support from the administration. There's not support from the school system itself. And the result is what we have now. Right. Kids who are not learning all over the state, all over the country, below par. They want to blame it on COVID. It's not COVID. It's not the homeschool. It's not what they did by TV. It's that the teachers don't feel encouraged or supported. And that's what they're doing. Some are leaving the field. And some of them are just hanging on. Just hanging on. Do what you want to do. Just don't bother me. But I'm going to ask you a question. Okay. Do you think that if the school system had mostly men, we would be in this situation? You think we'd be the lowest paid professionals? Of course not. Well, that's the answer right there. If you don't pay, you don't get. And so what we have now is, well, just don't destroy the place. Right. Isn't that a shame? That's a shame because we need both. We need both, and both should have equal pay. It should be based on
your experiences and not on your gender.
And the fact that they're mostly women, I think that the administrations can say, well, they got it. They're all right. They're going to be fine. But everybody needs to get their worth.
That's true. That's definitely true.
Not only the money, but also the respect.
Exactly.
If I were running the schools, parents would have to come and take a class. And not just one time. It wouldn't be just PTA. They have to show them how we work with children so they can do it. You don't tell kids to do the homework while you playing on your phone.
Right, exactly. And that has that accountability and responsibility for everybody across the board.
Right.
And I think that is much needed. I grew up in Chicago. So my mom was very active in our education. She was always at the school, always volunteering. And I feel like now how school has come, we don't see that. We don't see that at all. You know, it's not a priority. That's the word. It's not a priority. And now many parents are now homeschooling. So I know that's another subject for another day as far as how is education going to look in the future? Are we going to need the schools? Are we going to need the brick and mortar?
Oh, that's the problem. Yeah. Because the people who can will.
Right.
Will do.
Right.
And it will get worse.
Right. Exactly. Yes. Anything else you want to expound on? Unconscious bias or discrimination that you've...
I think that in many instances, if you are a woman, you are considered someone who will take it. So unless you put your hands on your hip, they're going to assign you.
Right.
And then if you ask about something about salary, they're going to tell you that's what everybody else is making. And we sort of take that.
Or when I was doing my research, Dr. Shields, sometimes the woman has to become more masculine or more aggressive.
Yeah.
To be seen.
Now
to be taken serious.
What I call don't take yourself away from being authentic.
Yes.
You shouldn't have to stand on a chair with a baseball bat in your hand to get what you deserve. You want to be able to state your case.
Right.
And be heard.
Right.
But I think a lot, especially since there are a lot of men who are in control, they take it with a grain of salt. And unless you put your hands on your hips, they're not going to consider you. And that's too bad.
Right. And as far as with us as African American women, just really pointing us out. When we do that,
well,
we consider what?
We the B word.
Right.
That's right. And if you get yourself fall into that category, you can win the argument, but you will not win the job.
You won't.
Yeah. Because somebody wants.
Then they're stereotyping.
Exactly.
So you're hard to work with.
And you have to get out.
Yeah.
It's a sad situation.
Yes. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. In your opinion, what are the main institutional factors contributing to the glass ceiling for women?
First of all, it's hiring practice. People hire who they want in higher education. And then, of course, there's pay. Let me give you one little example.
Okay.
A professor and I came to Howard at the very same time. Same credentials. And we were sitting around talking, and he told me how much he made. And I kept a smile on my face. He made 10 to 15,000 more than I made, and we walked in there the same day. Okay, now wait for it. I go to the dean, the same guy who called me to his room. He says, your husband is a dentist. He's the major wage earner. You are not. He is the major wage earner for his family. And so I put a smile on my face and I said, you'll hear from me. His administrative assistant walked in and gave him the paperwork to give me the money, the thing that he was getting. And he had to do it. He was comfortable discriminating against me in pay. Because I wasn't the major wage. I didn't even know he knew what that term meant. Major wage earner. Anyway.
What did that matter?
Were you there when I was doing my research?
Right. When you did the work. When you did.
That's what happened. Now people are getting some of the same treatment, and they don't even know it.
Mm-mm.
So if you're a professor at Georgia and nobody tells you how much they make,
you won't know.
You won't know it, and you only have your paperwork.
Mm-hmm.
In some instances, like in the government, they have numbers. How many years you've been. They don't have that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the only thing would be considered, like they do now, publications, research. I think they still presentations and all over the country and different things like that. But entering, we're all the same. You know what I mean?
On the same level playing field.
Exactly. And it's not level. I don't think it wasn't level when I was there.
Mm-hmm.
I think you need to check with some people who are still there.
I do.
Ask them to see how much their counterparts make.
Mm.
It's the same thing in departments. The psychoeducational department has more money than the teacher education department. Didn't find that out.
So even in different departments, the pay scale can be different.
It will be different.
Oh, wow. But they have a master's degree just like this person has a master's.
Exactly.
They have a PhD just like this person has a PhD. Only thing that should be different is probably the work experience.
Well, they talk about research.
Mm-hmm.
Now, research with kids, like my research, didn't have anything to do with changing kids. Mm-hmm. It was finding out what kids say and do and how that relates to their reading achievement. Oh, okay. It's not test tube work. Right. So people look at that as softer science. And if you had two test tubes and you shook them up together, one turned out white, one turned out black. So you see,
it's still research.
People use
it's to help it. Yeah, to use. That's what I was about to say. It's still research.
But nobody came up to me and said, your research was X or Y. Mm-hmm. But we know why the people in those departments get more money. Right.
Well, that actually went to our question on the hiring practices and the promotion criteria.
The same thing.
It's the same thing.
The promotion criteria is the same. Exactly.
Right. So what specific policies or initiatives are needed?
Well, let me just give you. My hat goes off to Dr. Janetta Coleman.
Oh, yeah.
President of
Spelman, yes.
She called me when I was named. I think she and my sister got together and invited me and my husband to her home for the weekend for her to teach me how to be a president and for her husband to teach mine how to be first man. That was extraordinary. Yeah. I don't think that has ever happened before. Now, I can get an opportunity to do that for another woman because not one woman came in after me. Wow. It was always to the men. But that's what we call an initiative. Now, I think there should be some initiative. Mm-hmm. When you go in and giving you the job, I think one of the things you can say is, please assign me a seasoned professor. And I'll learn from that person. Then I will be a professor for the next one coming along. You're not asking for a freebie. Right. You're just asking for an opportunity to succeed. Mm-hmm. They put you in a classroom and they give you the textbook and the roll. That's all you get. Mm. When you get to be the president, they put you in your office and introduce you to your staff. And that is all. And
you are on your own.
Thank it till you make it. But
you got to do the work.
Don't sit there. I didn't have this in my notes. I'm going to tell you how. When I got the job at Albany State, it wasn't a fluke. The chancellor of the University System of Georgia came to Howard University's campus and asked the security guards about me, students about me. And then he came into my office and went to talk to my staff. I don't know how many people would have gone to that length, but that's how I got that job.
Wow.
They didn't know, but he was. They would say things like, "She's here all the time. She's always at the game." Finally, he decided. And let me tell you what else he did, because that was your next thing about. But he called me up and said, "There is a new President's Institute at Harvard, and I'm going to send you." After that, there was one other another black woman, Miriam Moore, was introduced to presidents of the national organizations. I was put on committees. Do you see how I got that leg up? How could I fail?
Right.
If I just didn't take advantage.
Exactly. Yeah.
So if they would do that for more people, especially women presidents, then we wouldn't have to be so soft.
Right.
We could be just ourselves.
Right.
What it took to get there, so we take to stay there.
Wow.
So I forgive him. But then, of course, you got to watch it. A great president of HBCU, you would know his name if I called him that. Also a president of National Black Organization. And he put me on the board and another woman who's the president at the time of Jackson State Assembly. We were the only two women on the board. And he came into the meeting. He sat around and he said, "Here's the agenda. We all look at that. We're smiling." And he said, "Now, Portia, why don't you get us some coffee?" And then he said to the woman sitting beside me, "And will you take notes?" And the woman sitting beside me was getting ready to blow. And I said, "Of course we will. We'll do that this meeting. And the next meeting, one of you fine gentlemen will get the coffee, and one of the others will take notes." Do you know at the next meeting, there was a coffee urn. You get your own. And the president brought in a recorder. You see? If you hadn't stood up, we would have been still taking notes.
Wow.
But you have to do it in the right way. Lower your voice, strengthen your arm, take your hand off your, and don't roll your eyes.
Say that again, Doctor. Lower your voice.
Lower your voice, strengthen your argument, take your hands off your hips, and don't roll your eyes.
And do the what?
Oh, that's the thing. Do the work. And don't be afraid of it. Volunteer. And, you know, some people will call that, I believe as a new president or a new senior administrator, you need to volunteer for everything so you can do it. Right. Then you know who to assign the next.
Exactly. Wow. What role do mentorship, and sponsorship, network? We talked about volunteering already.
Right, and we talked about my chance of
you out, yes.
Opportunity. I think that you should be encouraged to do that. You really can't lose when you put a newbie in a situation to learn. Right. Because it's only going to strengthen the whole organization.
Right, and that's empowerment.
Exactly.
Yes.
But I think you have to be careful. Right. You have to take your notes, and then you also have to say, "I'm going to help somebody else." So what you give me now as an opportunity to learn more, I will pass on. I said that because you have to give a person who doesn't know any better a reason to be supported. Right. Because they usually hire men, right? And so they just give the men the chalk in the book. Right. Right. And then they get to their mate. Yeah. But we want to do more. We want to be instrumental. So I would see that we should invite women who are doing well to come to our institutions, make presentations for the students so that the students and the faculty and the staff can see I can go somewhere. Yeah. They have to see success in order. Exactly.
Exactly. And that's why I have business blazers.
Yes.
So the generation coming up from the future generation can see you. They can see me.
Yes.
They can see other people of color get into these positions, creating these positions.
And that's what I love about what you're doing.
Thank you.
There's I don't know anybody who's doing anything.
Right, right.
I mean, people would want to. So you will then have to mentor somebody.
Yes.
Who's good at, who would be good at doing this.
Yes, yes, yes. Yes. So now how can we encourage our young women to pursue careers in higher education and leadership and overcome those potential challenges? We said mentorship.
Yes. And then expose them to leaders.
Yes.
Because you know what, when you invite somebody to your school, you don't have to give them a lot of money. You just have to say, this is for the students. They need to hear your voice.
Yes.
I think that people will do it. And if you have to pay their way, but most people won't want money. But it's a good opportunity, something they can put on their resume.
Exactly.
I went to school and did what?
Exactly. And it can be verified.
And let me tell you one other thing. We were talking with hope and expectation.
Yes.
When I got to be president of Albany State, there was a new president. Remember I told you my friend did.
Right.
And so I wrote the note to him saying I'd like to, he's resigning and I'd like to talk to him. That's the protocol. When I got to his office after the meeting was scheduled, he was up on a ladder doing art work in his new office. And he said, without coming down and sitting, giving me any time, what on earth would possess you to want to leave the mecca of higher education, Howard University? I said, for the same reason you came, to make leaders of our people. And he said, I said, wow. Men need to relax.
Right. No.
They count on us to do everything. Don't they?
Yeah.
I mean, get the coffee.
Yeah.
Take the notes.
Yes.
Go to the bank. And we
go to the grocery store.
And we do those things.
Yeah.
And so we need to do it in a nice way. And let's like we said at the meeting, okay, I'll take notes this time, next time you take notes. Folks and people are the same.
Right.
Unless you.
And we need each other.
They couldn't do it without us.
Yes.
Exactly.
Well, truth be told, if we wasn't here, they wouldn't be here.
And you know, that is really, it's really the linchpin here.
Right.
How can they be so disrespectful?
Yes.
I think they learned it from other generations.
Yes.
And then people, there are some people who are changing.
Yes. Yes. Right. Right.
And they're not college presidents, and they're not chancellors.
Right. Right. So what are specific actions can be taken by individuals, institutions, and society as a whole to, I know it says dismantle the glass ceiling and create more inclusive environment for women in higher education?
Well, first of all, women have to wake up. Remember I told you how I hit my own head on the glass ceiling.
Right.
In one interview.
Right.
I asked my husband, and I mean, if my dad had been in that room, he So the first thing we have to do is recognize that we are part of the problem. Not look at yourself as a woman. When they told me that I had to be in class at a certain time, I had this infant baby to be prepared for, right? You just don't go in and talk. So when he went to bed at 8 o'clock, I went to bed at 8 o'clock. When he got up for his 2 o'clock feeding, I got up, fed him, put him back to bed, and stayed up the rest of the night to get the work done. So when you ask, first of all, it has to be in you. Do you really want to be successful? You want somebody just call your name. Do you really want to know? Do you really help somebody? Because that's for me. When I volunteered at my baby's school, I took the youngest infant and put him on a blanket beside me while I read to the kids and asked them questions. If you want to do something, you'll find a way to do it.
Yeah.
And it will only enhance your abilities and skills. So you need to help somebody. You need to encourage somebody. And then you need to go to work and do the work. Do better for yourself. If you are a classroom teacher, God knows we need them.
Yeah.
And you're good at that. Don't you want to teach classroom teachers?
Right.
So why not go on and get that next degree?
Exactly.
Help us out. Women need to help women.
Yes.
Men have this thing about, he's a good old boy, so I'm just going to appoint him. But women have to earn their way. And once they've earned their way, they need to turn around and find somebody else.
Instead of tearing each other down. Yeah.
Well, you know what? Now, I wasn't going to get into that, but you know, when I got to be the department chair, the woman, even though she voted for me, she said, I knew you'd get it because you're a fair child.
Really?
I said, I'm a hard-working woman. I come to work every day. I wanted to wipe up the floor with her. I know. But the point is, we tear each other down.
Right.
I would not do that.
Right.
Even though I just take a step outside. Because, you know, I had to fight for myself. So the point is, we have to do what we have to do.
Right.
But we do it for the right reasons and then bring somebody along.
Right.
Just like this business you're running. There's got to be somebody somewhere who can not only help you, but you could help them get into that kind of business.
Right.
I'm sure that you will find a way to do that.
Oh, yes.
It's in your personality.
Yes.
And when you're teaching, right? You're teaching.
Yes, I'm teaching.
Bring them in here.
Yes.
This would be a field trip. What would you fix? What would you change? How can I use this better? Get them to thinking about a future.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Yes. I don't even think we need to go to this one because you don't told me what my initiative should be. You know, if you want to expound on it, because we are living in this day and age of more information age, the technology age. So with these emerging trends, what are some emerging trends or initiatives that you believe hold promise for addressing the glass ceiling in the future?
Well, first of all, students need to know that's there.
Yes.
You need to know that it's there.
Yes.
And you could just be chilled here. Well, I got my own business. It's no good. No.
It's a
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So you have to recognize, not be paranoid, but be smart.
Be strategic.
That's exactly right. And ask, you know, we women think we can do it. And we can't do it. Nobody can. But no, there's some people who have been in your shoes, especially at the college level, that could help. Maybe they didn't do as much as they could for themselves, but they see that you could. And they should be happy to help you. Right. But if you don't ask.
Yeah. Closed mouths don't get fed.
That's exactly.
Closed mouths don't get fed.
That's right. Remember that one. So my point is that we have to look out for one another. This woman told me the other day that her uncle is in a nursing home. He in Fayetteville, and he, of course, didn't want to go. And he's older guy. And when she was leaving, one of the Black women who worked, they said, "Don't worry, we got him." So they take a menu to him every morning for him to decide what he wants to eat. Next thing you know, he's getting up out of that chair. So we have to help one another.
Initiative.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it can't be the same way that others do.
Exactly. So, you know, those are my questions that I have. Anything else you want to expound on before we conclude our interview? It's been so impactful.
Well,
something
that someone can use in the future.
Yes.
I
mean, they can use the whole thing of it.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I tell you, as I said, we grew up with 3 girls, and our parents just expected everything
Mm-hmm.
and us to be young ladies. And so I'm walking home from school,
Mm-hmm.
and my sister, the oldest one, and someone comes up and pushes her.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, what's going on? My sister didn't even turn around. So the girl pushed her again. I said, oh my books. I had to tell the girl up.
Oh, wow.
Well, in my way.
Mm-hmm.
Next thing I know, my grandmother
Mm-hmm.
is pulling me out of the pile.
Mm.
And she made me come over to her house because she get right in front of the street. Go up and wash her face and hands. I said, and the kid said, you gonna get up. I go ahead and wash my face and hands. Came down. She had made gingerbread.
Mm.
And she had that for me because she saw that it wasn't me who was fighting for me. I was fighting for she.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to take care of one another. We learned that early.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty soon it was, you better let her play, because if not, the sister gonna take the whole room. but
Yes.
it's a camaraderie that you feel even if the people don't deserve it.
Right.
I say that to say this. You know there are some women who just try to play it off.
Right. Right.
They try to use their sexuality,
Yes.
or they'll play demure. I'm sorry, I don't know what to do. Will you help me? That is counterproductive
Yes.
to leadership.
Yes.
Know yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Ask if you need help,
Mm-hmm.
but don't play the role, because
Right.
once you play the role, people know that.
Mm-hmm.
The next thing they know, they're going to try to get you to do something else.
Yes. Yeah.
And women have done that.
Yes. Yeah.
And yet, that does not put you into a presidency or senior administrative. It's put you in another category.
Category you don't want to be in.
You don't want to be in.
Yeah.
How are you going to?
And you don't want that to follow you.
That's right.
Because even once you try to come out of that category,
it doesn't change.
It doesn't change, because they'll always see you as that category.
They said she stepped her way through the doctoral program. I had no idea whether she did or not, but she didn't last a year.
Mm.
She looked good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes, she looked. The point is, know yourself, know what you want, and go after it, not after him or her.
Yes.
Go after what you want.
Do your purpose. Yes.
Do the work, and don't look for the handout's not coming. If it comes, it's price.
Right. Exactly.
You may as well do it for the right reason.
That's correct.
That's what it's the right thing for the right reason.
Mm-hmm.
And then whatever happens, you did your best.
Exactly. Exactly. Thank you so much, Dr. Shields, for letting me interview you today.
Well, I appreciate you.
This has been so enlightening.
I hope that it does.
Yes. Yes.
I hope that somebody will get.
I know they will. If they didn't, I did.
What?
Because it has motivated me on my journey of what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Continue to do the work. Continue to
and then turn around and help
somebody else.
Somebody, you've already identified somebody that you can help.
Yes.
I don't know that she's going to own her own business, but you've already.
I have.
I knew that.
Yes. And their family.
Good.
Yes. Yes. They are family.
I remember when it was a big time consultation project that was coming up, and my sister called me and said, somebody's getting ready to call you next time. Somebody's getting ready to call you, and you better say yes. This was Alexis Herman, and outstanding woman. Mm-hmm. She had her own consulting firm, and she asked me if I would come and do some work with Procter & Gamble. I said, I'm going to go to work at Procter. I would get Florida Procter.
You were ready.
No. And she had me come and do training for the Black women so they could earn their ways into higher level positions.
Wow.
I love that. So you have that experience working with kids, you have that experience working with teachers, you have that experience working in the wide world.
Yes.
So keep on moving.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, that concludes our interview. Thank you so much. You all have a great, great day.
Thank you for tuning in to the B Lounge podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, subscribe and tell a friend. Follow us on all social media outlets, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube for continuous updates.